Let's be real. Filing taxes in India has gone through a massive, and I mean massive, revolution. The days of wrestling with huge stacks of paper are pretty much over, and now we have this streamlined digital process. But all these new portals and faceless systems, they can be super confusing. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down and hopefully turn that confusion into clarity.
So here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with the huge shift from paper to the online portal. Then we'll get practical with the step-by-step e-filing guide. After that, we're going to peek behind the curtain at the whole faceless system, see how your returns actually get assessed, cover your rights in this new world, and then we'll wrap it all up by looking at what this new era of tax really means for all of us.
Okay, let's just dive right in. The first thing you really need to get your head around is just how monumental this change has been. We're talking about a leap from a system that was completely manual to one that's almost entirely digital. It's a big deal. And this slide really says it all, doesn't it? The past, man, that was all about physically going to the tax office, struggling with paper forms, and let's be honest, dealing with decisions that could feel a little subjective. But today, it's a completely different world. You've got one central e-filing portal, a lot of your data is already filled in for you, and this faceless system that's designed to be objective. It's a total overhaul. All right, so that's the big picture. But in this new digital world, how do you actually do it? Let's get into the practical, step-by-step side of things and see how you can take control of your taxes using the online portal. First things first, who actually has to e-file? Well, for a lot of people and businesses, this isn't an option. It's mandatory. That includes all companies and firms, anyone who needs a tax audit, and here's the one that affects a ton of people. Any individual with a total income over 5 lakh rupees. So if you're a salaried professional making more than that, for example, the digital portal is the only way to go. The process itself, thankfully, is pretty straightforward. It's basically a 6-step journey. You register on the portal, you only have to do that once, then you log in with your PAN number. From there, you pick the right income tax return form, the ITR form, for you. Now, here's the really cool part. A lot of your info is often pre-filled. The system pulls it from other sources, so you just have to check that it's all correct. Step 5 is super important. You e-verify it. And finally, you hit submit and get your acknowledgement. Done. Now, let's talk about that e-verification step because this is something you absolutely cannot skip. Think of it as your digital signature. Just filing your return isn't enough. You have to verify it to prove it was actually you. And you've got 30 days to do it after you file. The quickest and most common way is using the OTP sent to your Aadhaar-linked phone, but you can also do it through net banking or with a digital signature. So, you've hit submit, you've e-verified, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Your part is done. But what happens next? Well, this is where things get really interesting. We're going to go behind the digital curtain and explore this revolutionary faceless assessment system. So what's the big idea here? It's all built around the government's motto, transparent taxation, honoring the honest. The concept is actually simple, but it's really powerful. The goal is to completely remove the direct physical interaction between you, the taxpayer, and a tax officer. The hope is that by doing that, you can cut down on corruption and make the whole process more transparent and fair for everybody. Now, the brain of this entire operation is something called the National E-Assessment Center, or NEAC. You can think of it as the command center for everything. Every single notice, every query, and every final order comes from the NEAC, not from some local officer in your city. The system itself is your single point of contact, which makes sure you're never dealing directly with one specific person. So how does it all work behind the scenes? Well, your case isn't just handled by one person. It's actually passed between a team of anonymous, specialized units. You have the assessment unit, which does the main analysis. If they need to check something, like confirming a transaction, it goes to the verification unit. They're kind of like the investigators. If there's a tricky legal or technical question, the technical unit gives their expert opinion. And before any decision is made final, the review unit double-checks everything to make sure it's correct. Okay, let's trace the journey. We're going to follow a tax return as it moves through this automated system, from the second it gets picked for a closer look all the way to the final order. So you might be wondering, how does my return even get picked for a review in the first place? Well, it's not just random luck. The system uses something called CAS. That's Computer-Aided Scrutiny Selection. Basically, it's an AI-powered algorithm that uses a bunch of risk factors to flag returns that might need a more detailed check. For example, if your income is a certain amount, but you suddenly claim a huge refund, well, that might be a risk parameter that gets you flagged. The key thing is it's technology making the first move, not a person. So the whole process looks kind of like this.
First, CAS, the AI, flags a return. Then, the NEAC, our command center, issues an official notice to you through the portal. Your case is then randomly assigned to an assessment unit, which could be anywhere in the country. If they need more info, they'll ask for it digitally, and you just upload it right back. That unit prepares a draft order, which then gets checked by a different review unit. Finally, the final order is issued to you, you guessed it, through the NEAC. And every single step leaves a digital footprint, so it's all trackable. Okay, I get it. A system that's automated and anonymous can sound a little intimidating. It's natural to wonder, so where do I fit in? What are my rights in all this? Let's talk about that right now, because in this new system, knowledge really is power. Remember this, faceless does not mean voiceless. You absolutely have rights. You have the right to be heard. That means you get a chance to respond to every single notice they send you. You have the right to be informed of what's happening through the portal. And while face-to-face meetings are out, you can still request a personal hearing over video conference if you feel your case really needs it. And of course, you always have the right to appeal an order if you don't agree with it.
Now, this is maybe the most important tool you have for accountability, so pay close attention. Every single piece of communication from the tax department, every notice, every order, must have a computer-generated document identification number, or DIN. As this official circular says, if you get anything without a DIN, it's invalid. It's like it never even happened. This is what ensures that every single interaction is on the record and totally authentic.
Phew, okay. We've covered a ton of ground, so let's pull it all together now. Let's do a final comparison to really see what this new era of tax looks like. This table just lays it out so perfectly. Before, the interface was physical, in person. Now, it's all online. Jurisdiction used to be based on where you live. Now it's totally random, with no geographic link. Transparency was, let's say, limited. Now it's incredibly high, thanks to that digital audit trail and the DIN. And accountability has shifted from one individual officer to this whole system of anonymous units. The contrast is just stark.
But of course, no system is perfect, right? On the one hand, the benefits are clear. You've got a reduction in corruption, it's way easier to comply, and there's more objectivity. But there are also real challenges. There's the digital divide. Not everyone is a tech expert. We've all heard about technical glitches on the portal, and honestly, trying to explain a really complex financial situation just through written submissions can be tough for some people.
And so, this whole massive technological shift kind of leaves us with one big final question. We started this whole conversation with the idea of honoring the honest. But as we rely more and more on artificial intelligence to flag our returns and help with assessments, what is that principle truly going to mean for us taxpayers in the future? It's definitely something to think about.